Right on, here we go. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the stream. Man, I went from not streaming for months to doing it like 6 days in a row. This is great. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to my increasing struggles to give the streams titles that rhyme with the number of the episode in the series. But welcome either way, however you ended up here. My name is Eric. I am a photographer, filmmaker, and writer. And we are going to continue our little series, hopefully second to last day. I don't know why I say hopefully, I've enjoyed every step of this. But second to last day of going through my photos from my recent week in Colorado, choosing, kind of highlighting out the ones that are going to be the candidates for editing and then eventually publication. And yeah, that's the plan. As I've said before, I'm sharing this for several reasons. One of my main goals with this whole channel is to pull back the curtain on the creative process. My whole kind of ethos on it is that the best way to create art is to have all the tools you need to honestly connect with yourself, and a lot of that is connect with yourself and put the stories that you want to tell out into the world, whatever your medium might be. And a lot of that is internal, and you have to kind of find it yourself. But a lot of that is locked behind paywalls and behind, oh, you need this expensive gear, and oh, you need this, and oh, you need this, and oh, you need this. And so I, as an artist, I want to try to pull that curtain back and just share my creative process. Hopefully, it touches on yours. And as an extension of that, we're looking at all of the photos I took in Colorado. We are looking at the bad ones. We are removing the bad ones, but we are gonna. You're not just gonna see here's the final thing on this channel. You're gonna see that on my website. You're on this channel. You're gonna see the process. But yes, so thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this. Please feel free to give comments, give thoughts, give suggestions. And also, if you are an artist, if you spend any part of your time being creative, drop a link to your work in the chat or in the comments whenever you're watching this, so that we can see and celebrate you as you deserve to be celebrated. So, that having been said, I think that's the rough version of the spiel. I'm gonna have to write this up and paste it somewhere. Anyway, into Lightroom, into Colorado, and now in putting me into a smaller corner so that my hair is less noticeable. Also, for the first time, we're drinking lemonade, not tea today. And I'm going to put that down there and probably forget that it's there. Okay. So, this is the shot we left off on. We are deep into our Colorado journey. We are, of the 5 sections we have to go through, we are more than halfway through. Just over halfway through the 4th one. So we're gonna finish Crystal Mill, the ghost town of Crystal. It's technically not a ghost town. They do have one permanent resident, and several seasonal residents who are there because rich people own the land, and they have people who live there to make sure that no one is doing things on the land that they own and don't do anything with. But yes, so there's the quote unquote ghost town of Crystal, and then we'll jump over and start looking at the photos from Maroon Bells, which are mountain peaks, and we'll talk about that when we get there. This is where we left off. Let me go ahead and remove remove the 4-star rating, so I know that as my marker. Here we go, first and second, or color in black and white, before and after is what I was going. First and second. Okay, there we go. That's what we got. First and second. And this is a good example when I've talked about taking photographs and finding them in the field and using black and white as my main sort of what I use in the field and how I look at the photos when I take them. This is what I'm talking about, because I look at this photo and my immediate thought is, okay, crop off the bottom. If I take this and I crop the bottom up to maybe about there. A little bit less, something like that. There you go. Now we got a little bit of the road. We've got this. We have this in the foreground. But we are the mountain and this stuff in the background feels more focused, and the sky, also that line of cloud kind of driving us right to the mountaintop, is great. And is helps make this photo about that, and then we would do a little bit of adjusting color and brightness, burning, dodging, haze, that kind of thing. So I think that looks cool. It still looks good in color, but if I was to back up and go back to the original here, honestly, I'm probably going to still make that crop because we got some patches of dirt down here, and these flowers are more just immediate in the frame than these ones down here. But like, another reason I take these in black and white to focus on composition is because taking them in color, it's easy to get distracted by things that don't help the photograph as we go on. I'm going to keep this one. I think there's I like where this could go. Once again, most of these shots, and again, I should start a drinking game. Let's see, we're gonna rotate those. I've made jokes about there should take a shot every time when I'm masking and I use duplicate and invert. There's also, I feel like there's a joke for take a drink every time I start a sentence with "and again" and then say something that I haven't said before. All right, a few different versions of this. Now we're coming around the corner of this mountain. I do still like that one. I'm gonna keep both of these because I'm gonna somewhere in the crop here is what I want this photo to be, and I don't know if I want to be able to have a little more freedom on the bottom, though I do really like how the road kind of plays in this one, or if I want to be able to have the top of the cloud here. So I'm going to keep both of these. Somewhere between the two of them is the photograph that I'm trying to capture. And then this one looks like it's better in general. Focusing on a different peak. Not the peak that's been cloud blessed apparently, but we've got a little more of a straight line from the wildflowers up to the mountain. We're kind of not a straight line, but a little more of a, that's the thing you see. If you look in the foreground, you see the flowers, look in the background, you see the mountain, and then you kind of have a fun journey through this valley to get to one or the other. So I did a few of these. That one I really, in black and white, looking at the composition of that one, I really like that. I want to adjust my horizon a little bit, but I really like that one. All right, then we're switching to something else. So let's see, between these two. Yeah, I think this one, I think it's the second one. I think the first one, this is another one of those moments where I think having the road in the shot takes away from it versus adds to it, like in some of the, it's like in this one. I think the road here is an asset. Not so much in here. Honestly, even in this one, yeah, I'm probably gonna crop that out. I don't need the side of this. This is gonna be another one of those that I end up doing as a very tall, skinny portrait, and that therefore making it nearly impossible to frame. I do like making things hard for myself. Okay, this one. Apart from the fact that that's the edge of the Jeep. Let's see, we got a couple. Looks like a couple of these. Man, I could not get away from the edge of the Jeep. The edge of the Jeep and I are just buddies on this moment. Okay, now we're switching to another thing. A couple other things. That's a nice one. We'll come back to that. All right, let's back up. Oh, lovely. Okay, hang on a sec. There we go. Someone's got to reset the... Alright, let's see. I didn't want to flag that one yet. So I like the second one better. I think I'm going to keep the second one as a vacation photo. I don't know if this one... I don't know. Maybe. I'll go ahead and flag this one. I do want to take a look at it. This one I think could, with the right little bit of processing, bringing some color in, cropping out that part of the Jeep. I think this one could have some really nice... like editing potential. We will see. I like this one less. I think this is entirely based on the fact that I like the red flowers more than the yellow. I do like having the whole cloud though. That's kind of nice. All right, we're keeping both. We're coming back to both. I don't like this one. This one just seems bad. The flowers were going by a little too quick. the mountain itself isn't super impressive. I like the way the mountain and the clouds interact. Like that's, you know, even if this isn't a photo I'm saving, there's still something good in it. I'm gonna keep it as a vacation photo. I think I'm gonna keep that. I'm not gonna flag it. I'm not gonna delete it. Just gonna be one of my, like, yeah, that was a cool vacation. I remember that moment. This one, I don't know. I'm a sucker for cloud shadows. I'm a sucker for being able to look out at a landscape and see where the clouds are drifting on the mountain. And seeing the gaps in them. I think that's a very cool thing. I think I like that so much because living on the East Coast, you don't get a lot of open land that's open and has varying elevations enough to really see it. You will see, like, this is the kind of thing that if anyone watching from Arizona or from around the Grand Canyon or any of those regions is going to be like, yeah, no, I see this is daily. What are you talking about? This isn't cool. Also, as a just little bit of public service activism and stuff, keep your eyes on and your thoughts on the firefighters and the crews out there fighting that massive fire has both destroyed most of the structures at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, which is where I stayed when I was there. It's closed a bunch of the trails that I did, and it also currently has Black Canyon of the Gunnison closed, which is both the north and south rim. I don't think the fire has gotten there yet. Like that, I don't think they're actively fighting flames, but they are. Yeah, that's a thing that they have closed Black Canyon because of this fire. So the photos we were looking at 2 days ago, currently that national park is closed. So yeah, that's I'm giving up on my hair right now. But yeah, so just keep your attention on what's going on out there. That's a wildfire that's we're first big catastrophic wildfire of the season, and it's hitting me kind of hard because yeah, like I stayed at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, stayed at Black Canyon, and just yeah, a lot of memories there. Okay. That being said, we'll come back to that, but that being said, this is, yeah. The more I look at this, the more I like it. And I don't know if that's a little bit of a Stockholm thing or a little bit of Shelby Lynn saying she loves the shadows in this one, and that I'm easily swayed. I do like this. I think it's got a good balance of light and dark. I think this one feels like it's not quite perfect, but a little bit of cropping and adjustment will get it somewhere that I really like. So we're gonna keep that one. Also going to keep it because Shelby Lynn might want to write a poem about it. She tends to do that. Look at this little waterfall. This little waterfall is adorable. It's a tiny little water small. It's not the... Look at that. Just cute. That's actually the best shot so far. Let's see. I also have a really cool video of this thing going in slow motion. Just it's on my phone, so you're not seeing it. Okay. I like this. I like this a lot in black and white. I like this 2 patches of sunlight in the background. Gonna keep that. I like this too. I'm gonna go back and forth on whether or not I want the one with the rocks in focus in the foreground or the waterfall in focus in the background. Both of these are cool. This one not so much. I feel like the composition hadn't clicked in quite yet. Same kind of thing here. This looks a little jumbled. I think I could get this to kind of match. What I would do is I would select. I'll show you exactly what I would do. We're gonna do a brush here, and we're gonna widen that up, and we're gonna do a brush like this and a brush like this, and we are going to turn up the highlights on those, and we're going to come down here, and we're gonna turn up the clarity. There we go. We would do something like that. I guess I can also add the waterfall itself into that to sort of give it, try to get, highlight the composition, the connection between the patches of light and then the 2 patches of the 2 water, kind of little cascades, and then or waterfall, little water drops, and then the water there. I don't know if this one needs that. I feel like I'm pushing it a little bit to something that's not there, and I've got plenty of good photos of that, so I'm going to move on. And then between these 2, not that. We already agreed we like that one. Lightroom, come on, work with me. I'm not going to keep this one. I'm going to keep this one. This one feels a little more... This one feels composed Actually, the more I look at this, the more I am really liking it. So we'll, turn some clarity up. Yeah, give it that. I don't want to say. I don't want to say give it that sort of Thomas Kincaid sort of sheen, but that is kind of what we're doing. Darken the blacks down a little bit. Yeah, actually, I'm really liking that. I'm going to put a couple stars on it to show that I've worked on it, and we're going to continue on. Also worth noting, Thomas Kincaid is was a piece of shit. I don't often talk, no, we're gonna call this what it is. This is, forget the whole, artists don't talk bad about other artists. No, Thomas Kincaid was a horrible person who exploited entirely too many people and used his nominal belief in Christianity to hoodwink people who are far more devout and far more pious than he ever was, into thinking that he was on their side. Yeah, no, fuck Thomas Kincaid, and don't buy his work. Mostly because he didn't actually make most of it. Anyway, back to this. Look at these mountains. These mountains that also, fun fact, were not made by any one thing. They were just, these were shaped by nature and are thus blameless. Yeah, the little cabin thing out there is cool. I believe. I don't know if we've got. Let's see where we're getting to yet. Yep. Okay. So yeah, fire danger forever. Love that. Keeping that sign. One of those rare moments where I couldn't get to my. I could get to my camera faster than I could get to my phone. I'm just going to rotate all of these. I know they're all portraits. So, this little cabin thing here is the home of Paul the Hermit. Paul the Hermit is a guy in his 80s, I believe. Lives up here off the grid. For a good chunk of his life, he just never came down. He was just up on the mountain year round. Apparently, he has started coming down in winter or in summer occasionally, down into the town of Marble, which is 7 or 8 miles from where we are right now, and he's got jeeps. But yeah, no, this is Paul the Hermit has lived up on this mountain for most of his life and just kept to himself, and that's absolutely cool. So yeah, that is the roof of his. I don't know if it's his cabin or it's his little, or it's one of his outer buildings. Yeah, no, hey, you could absolutely write a limerick about Paul the Hermit. Paul the Hermit could absolutely use a limerick. I don't know which of these I like better. Not this one. This one feels like I'm losing the plot. Yeah, there's another. Yeah, that's Paul's house. That's another structure owned by Paul. This one not so much. This one I'm really liking. This one does seem to really center the cabin. Keep that. Let's see. This one. I just went back 2. Let's go back 1. This one not so much. The cabin's not as centered, and I don't get, weirdly for it being a, yeah, it has more sky in it. It feels like but the sky isn't adding to it, so it just feels like it's 2/3 of a photo for me. Amazingly, zooming in a little bit helps. Zooming in a little bit, making this a little more prominent, and taking a little bit of the sky out, which I'd probably do a little more of anyway. This one I feel like I can crop off a little of the bottom and a little of the top and still have a good thing. But that might also just be, I'm trying to recreate this. We'll see. I'm keeping it. Wider shot and much wider. Or wide shot and then much wider shot. I like this one because it's got a little cloud in it. I like this one less because we're completely losing the cabin. You know what? I take it back. I'm keeping this one. I'm losing this one. This one we are losing the cabin, but I think with a little bit of cropping, we might be able to bring that cabin back into prominence. And if we can do that while keeping this cool cloud and keeping the mountains and stuff, that would be neat as hell. So we're gonna keep that, but yeah, I think either this one or this one is my favorite. We'll come back to those. Going around the corner, don't particularly need that one. Keeping the fire danger one because I think it's fun. All right, coming across some waterfalls here, some fast flowing rivers, a little bit of rapids. There's a bunch of these that are just... Yeah, these are all portrait shots. Give me a sec. I'm gonna rotate the whole next batch after Lightroom loads. Give it a second. Oh, there we go. There's another surprise coming up. What's this one? Yeah, that one's... I think there's one or two in here that are landscapes, but we'll deal with that. We can turn off before and after. I feel like it's messing up Lightroom right now. There you go, Lightroom. Just load the picture once. For the moment, anyway. Take these and rotate them all left. All right, cool. 26 pictures. Let's keep going. That was the fire danger one. Kept that. That's a vacation shot. Okay, here we go. Put before and after back on so we can see. Looks like we got 3 of these. Varying adjustments for the river. I don't know that any of these are really speaking to me right now. Yeah, I don't know that I'm getting a whole lot out of these. Third one kind of the most. Yeah, I think I'll keep the third one. We'll see if that's got a future. I think it might. Big questions on that, but here we go. Now this is I'm trying to like, to any of my viewers who were watching network television in the I think 70s and 80s and 90s. There's a very, very slim chance you might recognize this. This is a spot called now called Coors Falls. Not the name it originally had. Now it has another name, but it's colloquially known as Coors Falls. And probably more people know it as Coors Falls. Coors Beer shot a commercial here. Shot a commercial right in front of this waterfall. And yeah, that's Paul's house. I'm sorry, I'm reading Shelby Lynn's lyric now. That's pretty good. That's especially for like writing that down in the amount of time that since we've been looking at Paul's house. There we go. Everybody check the chat and enjoy Shelby Lynn's little limerick for Paul. If I ever encounter him, I will share this with him. All right, so yeah, but anyway, Coors Falls, which yeah, does make for a very, very, very pretty picture. We're keeping that one. Nope, first one's better, even though we blew right past it. First one's better, second one's not as much. Let's see. What are we looking at? Second, first, or third? Nope, first one still got it. Nope, wrong way. Occasionally, I do land on the right composition right off the bat. I feel like I'm going too much to the mountains right now. I feel like this is becoming less about the waterfall. Yeah, I think I want this whole rock down at the bottom. I want that in the shot. That's better. That one feels like a good composition. We'll keep those. We'll keep that one, and we'll keep the first one. Yeah, I can see an appeal. I can see both of them appealing. We'll keep both and see where my mind goes when I start editing. All right, let's talk about this little guy. This is a spot along the river. This is the Crystal River, Crystal Stream, whichever you prefer. Crystal River, I believe, is what they go with, depending on how roaring it is at the time. Yeah, partially, I believe, because of how clear the water is. Like, that crystal clear water is, I believe, the namesake for the town of Crystal, because they didn't mine crystals. They were doing silver. But anyway, yes, so we stopped and ate lunch along the banks of the river, and if you wandered upstream a bit from where we were, there you found spots like this, which I believe are pretty much all of these photos that I flipped, that I rotated, all of these are this spot. So bear with me while we go through a whole bunch of photos of this same spot and kind of talk about the good and the bad ones. I like this one a lot. I know I'm going to like a lot of these for the same reasons, but the water leading up through the trees and then having, I really like this little patch of sky coming through. In black and white, it almost looks like that's like a mountain in the background, kind of surrounded by fog. So I like that. I'm keeping that one. We adjust. Let's see. I take it back. I'm keeping the next one. This one's more balanced. This one feels steadier. And I eventually. All right, hey, we're trying to do some long exposures, long-ish exposures. How long is this? This is a quarter of a second, so not a real long exposure. But when water's moving fast enough, you can get that kind of fast blur going. Let's see if I like this. I don't love it. Let's see if I did a couple more. I think. Yeah. Okay, that's better. That's balanced better. Let's take this one out. Let's keep this one. Yeah, that's got a much nicer balance to it. It's a little blurry, though, because holding the camera still for a quarter of a second is a little bit of a challenge. For some reason, I don't like this one. For some reason, I think this one shows something that this one doesn't. But also, this one's in focus. Hey, so you take what you get. Let's keep going. All right, I'm going to start off with this one that I like, but is out of focus is not sticking around. This one that is in focus, but I don't love, is also not sticking around. This one seems best of both worlds. That one seems in focus, and I really like that composition. I like the white in the sky matching the white of the water down here. That's the other thing. When you do a long exposure of water, of moving water, not even moving water, water that is moving quickly, of water that is rushing, enough that it gets white. If you do a long exposure, you're going to get a brighter white, which in this case, the reason I chose to do that here is because I had this cloud up here as a prominent white spot at the top, and if I could put it at the bottom and make that connection, I like that. Felt like the right type of symmetry for this. So I'm going to keep that one. All right, now I'm putting the camera closer to the water. I'm also, did I switch lenses? No, not yet. Not yet. I'm still on my 24. I like this. I like being down close to the water. I like that even in a portrait shot, you still feel like you're getting a bit of a spread of, kind of almost like it's, I don't know, for some reason this little curve of the water here feels really, really cool to me. And I don't have it in this photo. I have it here. Maybe it's just the darker sections here that make it feel a little vignetted. I really like this one. Yeah, this one doesn't feel like it has the same impact. We switch lenses. Okay, we went from 24 millimeters here to 22 millimeters here, and we're gonna go wider. We switched to the wide lens. This one's just not centered. I love those trees. I love the mountains. I love the trees. I love the clouds. I love the water. But I'm off center a bit. Did I fix that at all? No, I went wider. Okay, let me see if I can fix this one before we go any further. If I was to center this, it doesn't feel centered. But it kind of is. This is another one of those, like, the thing that feels centered isn't exactly centered. A little bit of, I'm going to have to find the sweet spot there. I think centering that will make for a very good picture, and the focus looks pretty fucking good, so we're going to keep that. Now we're going wider. Now we're at 14 millimeters, capturing the sky above and the water below. Let's see how many of these I did. Am I still shooting at a quarter second? No, I'm up to 1/200th of a second, which is how I'm getting the detail in the water there. At some point I start tilting. Nope, I look the other direction. We'll come back to that. So it's these two. It's this one and this one. No contest. It's this guy. It's centered. It's balanced. It's got the water in the foreground looks good. This is still 14 mil. And then with just this beautiful curve of cloud up above. And again, we are twisted in nature, and that does make me like, this one feels like it's, you know what? Yeah, I'm switching. I like this one. It's a very slight change, and I'm not gonna sit here and go, this is what makes me an artist. But like, something about this appeals to my mind more than the one that's more, classically balanced. So we're gonna keep that one. All right, the rule has been through this whole trip: as soon as you make one photograph, turn around or change, look around you and take the other, because this is where this photo was taken. Is right at the right at a curve in the river. It's right where the river kind of, you know, comes up to the bank and goes around, which is why you have this great shot looking up it, and it looks like I'm standing in it. But which also means if I turn a little bit to my left, I will get this view, which somehow I rejected already. And you get to see the water rushing down. There's also another viewpoint further down there. And if you go away, if you can't see it here, but if you had gone down here, this is a little waterfall right over the edge here. And then down below that is a branch that goes across and kind of sits over and is a really good spot to enjoy the waterfall. And sitting on that branch is my brother, just watching the water flow and eating lunch. So let's see. We did a couple of these. I've gone fully to 10 millimeters, so I'm going as wide as I can. There's a tilted shot. We'll come back to that. I'm also back to 1/8 of a second, which tells you how fast the water's moving. I like this one. This one feels like a good balance. This one feels like I've overcorrected too far. And this one feels like I went the other direction, but I do like it because I really like what the water's doing. I really like that blur to the water, and I really like this one is interesting to me. Interesting is I think is the right word. I don't know if it's immediately good, but it definitely is interesting. These, back to some of my twisted shots. I'm just gonna full screen this because it's weird to try to look at this like that. Did a few of these. I like this one. This one is one of those ones that I feel like does a decent job replicating the feel of being in the space versus just showing you the space. I'm a fan. I'm not a fan of the second one. The second one doesn't quite do it the justice I want it to. The first one's a little, you can see the balance. The first one's, I think, has a little too much sky. I overcorrected, put a little too much water in there, and then I came back and found the medium. And the medium is what we want in this case. But also, this one gives you the best look at kind of how the river turns, which is something I wasn't able to capture by shooting one direction or the other. Kind of had to give myself the widest reach that my photo could get, which is diagonal to diagonal, and it was along the diagonal, and yeah, do it that way. So that's how we ended up with these photos. I'm gonna keep this first one too. I could see myself going one way or the other. Also, this one's not a long exposure, and this one is, and so I kind of like that, having the choice of seeing the water sort of flowing that way, or coming to the first one and seeing the texture that exists in it, both of which are gorgeous. I'm very on the fence, but I'm excited that I get to do both. Again, my attempts at doing photos of trees in front of mountains. I think I'm getting better at it, but I don't think I'm there. So, you know what? Actually, I'm going to keep that one as a vacation photo. I like it, but I don't think it needs editing. Hey, I rotated Sheep Mountain a bit too much. This is the backside of Sheep Mountain. We were up near the top of Sheep Mountain earlier, with some of those wildflowers. So we've now come down a bit, and we are coming past the side of Sheep Mountain. This is the side of Sheep Mountain that nobody climbs. Funnily enough, this is the side that is, as far as I know, fairly impassable. Mostly for a couple reasons. Main one being very sheer. Second one being the rock this is made of is not nearly. It's kind of a flaky sort of redstone that doesn't take anchors well. So it's hard to climb this and put your weight on it. The third reason, let me look at these three photos here real quick. I like that one. That one's interesting. Simple. That one less so. For some reason, this one feels like it's about the cloud. This one feels like it's about the mountain, and the cloud is just there. This one doesn't do anything for me. The other reason that we don't recommend climbing Sheep Mountain is, of course, because of goats. These are mountain goats that we were. If you watched yesterday's stream, I talked about there was an animal that we were told you are not going to see these guys. They are not on, you do not see them. And then this is on my 600mm lens. This is on my giant lens. This is as we are driving past Sheep Mountain. I don't even know. I wonder if you Like, this is, let's see, what lens am I on at this? I'm on the 24mm lens. This was shot at 24, which is one of the focal lengths that is close to the human eye. So this is close to what we're seeing. We're driving past this. And I have no idea if you could even see them in this photograph. But we're driving past this, and my brother sitting there goes, "Goats!" And we turn and look, and yeah, he's right. Way up there. Going from 24mm to 600mm, this is the shot that I get of the mountain goats. We're gonna, and we have a bunch of shots of mountain goats. So we're gonna look at shots of mountain goats for a bit. This one's a little bit blurry, but it's actually surprisingly not. That's actually pretty good. I have to zoom in way too much. This is the thing. Almost all of these are being kept either as vacation photos or as photos to edit with. But so we're keeping this one. There's a better one. There was a family of 5 up there. I don't think I never got all 5, but I do have parent and child here. Goat and are baby goat. What are baby goats called? Are they called kits? Are they called? Kids. They're kids. Okay, they're just kids. Excellent. Thank you, Maria Lisa. So yes, parent and kid. That works out really well. Look, they are very cute, and that photo I think does have a good amount of potential, especially the color on the rock, and the way that they're kind of on this little section that's got some red rock, but they're surrounded by gray. I think we could have some fun kind of spotlighting them there. What else we got? This is a wild thing about mountain goats. Also, notice the distance. One photo to the next. I guess I'll zoom in. I guess we'll leave it like this. You know what? I'm gonna do this. We're gonna go here. These photos are interesting because we're looking at we don't need to compare color on these. But yeah, love the distance here between this and this, where parent moved a little bit and the kid zipped across up here. The kid is having a blast. The other cool thing about mountain goats, and this is the thing I didn't get until I saw them moving, is that when you think of we should call giving birth kidding. We should call it kidding more often. That's an excellent fun fact. And man, every time someone says like, "Oh my God, I'm going into labor," we could respond with, "You've got to be kidding." That'd be great. This is just these jokes write themselves. I didn't even have to look to know I was getting a look from the other room. This is the thing now. She's made it a thing. Oh, she's slow clapping. I've done very well. That calls for actually hydrating, sort of. Anyway, a thing about when you think about the way goats and large ungulates like deer and moose, when you think about the way they move, you tend to, if they're kind of moving at a slower pace, you will see them you will see them walking kind of, each limb individually. When you see them moving quickly, their limbs pair up. Their limbs kind of you're either getting both front and back at the same time, or you're getting left and right, left and right, left and right. Which I believe is actually a thing that's specific to whether they're even or odd-toed ungulates. I might be wrong about that, but I believe that's actually how that works. Because I know giraffes do it. Giraffes are two-toed, and they do it one way, and then horses do it a different way. Mountain goats, by the way, let me zoom in here. Nope. Shot's not great. Mountain goats, you can barely see, but are two-toed ungulates. But the way that they move more or less at speed, which is weird, is they move kind of closer to the way we would if you were on all fours and you're trying to move fast. You're sort of one hand in front of the other, and then your legs sort of following as needed. It's weird to see an animal like this moving that way, but it makes perfect sense given their habitat. Also, they have almost no natural predators because you can't get to them. Like their best defense against predators is the fact that they live up on the side of a mountain and no one can get there, which is great. All right, here's another duo. Again, parent and kid down here. Oh, kid's mid-stride. Oh my God, that's so cute. Little face. Again, all of these are being kept for my own personal just enjoyment, but then also there's gonna be some of these that'll be artistically satisfying. This one I think I might be able to do something with. It's a little bit it's not the sharpest photo I've ever taken, but it also, I don't know, catching this little guy kind of with his back, like, you know, hind legs down and front legs up is just absolutely adorable, and that feels like a photo I want to take some time to play with. Let's see, once again, little baby there, and parent. Sticking with this same pair, there are more up there, and I think we get to them in a second, but let's see, how's this one looking color? Not as great. I think I'm losing the kid there. I'm gonna keeping, but not editing. Ooh, there you go. That might be the one. Yeah, that focus is pretty good. Again, I'm holding a 600mm lens way out there and trying to get pictures of an animal that's moving on the side of a cliff. So still working on that. But yeah, this is. You want to come see? Did I lure you in from the other room to take a look at these guys?
No, I was on my way to. Oh.
Right? They're just cute.
Cute.
Hang on, look at. I'm gonna. Maria Lisa is standing right here. You can't see her on camera. There she is. There's her face. Let me go back to this. Is it this one? No, it's this one. Like, look at this. Look at this little guy. Kind of like mid hop. Right?
Oh,
they're so cute.
And the goats are cool.
There they are. Oh, hey, take a look at this. Sheplin says bestie.
Hi, bestie.
Why do I have this on my head?
That's a bow. It's really pretty.
Oh, it is very pretty. Also, we were so excited by these two, we missed this one back here.
Oh, snap. Wow, they really do blend in.
They do. No, like the guy who was our tour guide, Jerry, he has been doing these tours since the 70s, and this is like he was saying like second or third time he's ever seen them.
Wow. You got lucky then.
No, we had Steven. Like, the trick is...
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I can almost guarantee on almost every one of these tours, there is an opportunity where you could have seen the goats. You just didn't have... You just... He's driving the Jeep, and you need someone with my brother's eyes to be able to look up at a mountainside and go, oh, that dot's moving. I think it's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, Steven
was a hawk in a past life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell him I said that.
That would have... It's the best explanation I've ever heard for the nose my family's got.
That's not where I was going.
That's where I went. I'm joking. I can't
tell him the first part that I said.
I will tell him. I'll tell him that I said the nose part, and I won't blame you for it. That was on me. All right. Now look at this guy. Just doing a. Yeah. So so these are the two we were watching at the beginning. At first, this guy kind of came in behind them. I believe there's two more up on that mountain that we did get a look at. Yes, these two. I'm seeing two right now. Yes, there's this one over here, sort of working their way down, which is that actually could make for a very good photo. And there's another juvenile over here hiding behind this tree. So that was another set of two that were out and about. Let's see. I think we're back to our first duo. I guess two-thirds of the first trio. Again, parent down here having no problem navigating. Little guy is like, this is a big jump. Which I'm in my head I'm using the same voice that the elephant in Tarzan used for the are you sure this water's sanitary line. So that's the internal monologue of this little fuzzy boy. I'm gonna mark that one as a potential as well. These came out better than I thought. He says as he looks at the photo where the goat's head is hidden in a bush. But good news, our little guy made it across. Just makes it look like he's wearing little booties. No, little hooves are still forming. He's got some booties on. Yeah, it's just gonna keep that photo for vacation. There's one of our goats just hanging out amongst the foliage. It's not a bad shot. I think we have better ones to edit. And again, parent and juvenile. Again, me trying to get a tree in the foreground here, not working. And then yeah, there's the one bringing up the rear. So yeah, we saw mountain goats, which is not a thing we expected to see. Not a thing that you really commonly see. Again, they are like, you're looking at, you were trying to pick out this moving blob of white amidst all this like reflective light, light brown and tan and gray stone, and you are trying to do it when this is the view you have. Like, finding mountain goats in the wild is not easy. And well, not easy by accident. If we were to post up here and spend a day or so just sort of with cameras watching the spot, yeah, we'd probably get some really good pictures and probably see a bunch of them. But to just encounter them in the wild like this is very rare, and I feel very lucky that we got to do it, and very lucky that my brother's has the eyesight that he has and the connection to the land. All right, what do we got here? We're going back to mountains. We've got more mountains to look at, but we're going slower than we did last night. We were blowing through these last night. No, we're coming up on the Crystal Mill stuff, so that'll be a little bit of time spent at one spot. I liked this mountain. This mountain does really feel like it was painted. This is one of those spots that feels like, when we looked at some of the mountains last night, that felt like it was like, this feels like the most detailed model train landscape. This feels like that to me as well. I don't know if I love these trees in the front, but I love the way the light is enhancing the contours of the forest and the meadows and stuff on the mountain. Definitely keeping that. Don't know if I'm going to edit it, but I really like it. There's something about that that's really, really catching my eye. All right, welcome to the town of Crystal. The town of Crystal is, like I said, was a silver mine. Was a silver mine forever, and the way the town of Crystal got kind of got punked by the U.S. government. They were a crystal mine. Or a silver mine. They were mining silver. Fairly small operation. In the late 1800s. In the late 1880s, or I think it's early 1890s, somewhere in there. Late 1880s, early 1890s, Chicago held the World's Fair. And if anyone has read the book Devil in the White City, you're very familiar with the process of how that fair came to be. And one of the things that they had at that fair was they were asking people to bring the best of whatever they did. There were categories for all kinds of competition. Bring and show off the best of your work. And there was a gems and rocks category. And the miners at the crystal mine brought this giant slab cut out of the mountain that had this gorgeous vein of silver running through it, that I'm sure pictures of exist, because it won first place. It won first place in the at the Chicago World's Fair in the gems and rocks category. This gorgeous silver vein running through a slab of rock, and at which point all of a sudden everyone is like, crystal. The crystal mine is incredible. It's the place to be, and they start pouring tons of investment into the crystal mine. People are investing. The size of the town balloons. Like, this was one of those things where it's like the town before the World's Fair, it had approximately like 30 residents full time. After the World's Fair, it had closer to I want to say like over 200. It might go as high as like 250 or 300. And again, this is not an easy place to get to, and it's a tiny little pocket of land. And now it has one permanent resident. Like, that's as my tour guide says, that was the story of crystals told in 3 numbers. But what happened was, so tons of investment come in. Crystal ballooned into this little, as much of a booming mining town as it can be, given where it's situated and how hard it is to get to. And then, in 1893 or 4, somewhere in there, the U.S. government had a thing on the books back when the U.S. government more nominally gave a shit about people. Gave a shit about certain types of people. Yeah, I hate having going back and going like, yeah, there were moments where the U.S. government, garbage enterprise that it has mostly been for its whole existence, was attempting to do something right. And there was a moment where they were attempting to help the silver industry because they viewed it as important. They viewed the silver miners as important. And they were attempting to help the silver industry, and so they had a rule that said that the government itself would purchase a certain amount of silver per year. And it's just one of those things of like, yes, we can use it in government projects. It's a purchase the government will make. We think this industry is important. We are going to buy this, have it, and use it, and then we'll find a use for it. We're the government. We can find a use for a lot of silver. And so this law was on the books, and that while this law was on the books, it was part of the reasons the silver mine at Crystal existed in the first place, because there was a demand for it. Or there was not necessarily. I mean, there was a demand, but there was also just a guaranteed return on it. And then post the World's Fair, this whole town exploded, and it was like, oh my god, there's a guaranteed, like, we know we have a guaranteed buyer. The government is going to buy a lot of this, and we can pour a ton of money into it, and we can invest, and it's prestigious. It was the thing to do. Well, during this time, we think of gold and silver as being gold is more valuable than silver. Shelby Lynn, we cannot confirm or deny that the government was using the purchased silver to go after werewolves. The government will deny that. We can neither confirm nor deny. But either way, regardless of werewolf involvement, which is a sentence I am very happy that I got to say today, the price of gold, we tend to think of gold and silver as gold being the more valuable, mostly because I think of the Olympics. But I think looking specifically at the timeline of the U.S.'s existence, because I can't speak for further back than that, but while in America during the time where we cared about gold and silver as commodities, which, a couple hundred years, the more often than not, their prices have been very close to each other, or there have been times where silver was valued equal to or higher than gold. Just in terms of value, in terms of scarcity, in terms of just what it was being used for. One of those times was the late 1800s, and silver was booming. The government was buying it. People were putting tons of money into it. Silver won. Yeah, that silver vein won at the World's Fair. Silver was the thing. Gold miners and the people who owned gold mines got mad about this. Honestly, I bet the people who owned the gold mines got mad. I doubt the gold miners cared that much. This whole story feels like rich people got mad about not being rich enough. And so the gold companies, the gold mines and companies lobbied Congress to get rid of that law that says we have to buy silver. They said no. They argued the gold miners are not making enough money. Stop helping the silver people. The silver people are fine. And by successfully doing that in 1893 or 4, I want to say 4, Congress was swayed and decided, silver's doing great on its own. Without actually, this is one of those like, this is one of those moments of like, yeah, it's doing great because of the thing you're doing. If you stop the thing, this isn't a self-sustaining machine, dude. This is one of those, my bike is moving at a good speed, I don't need to keep pedaling. Yeah, won't possibly fall over in that case. Gold lobbyists lobbied Congress. Congress took the law off the books that said they had to buy silver. They stopped buying silver, and the value of silver dropped 30% in a month. Crystal became a ghost town in less than a year because of that. So you can look at this story and say, the government interfered and shouldn't have. You can also look at this story and go, man, it's the only thing that's changed in the past 130 years is that the government is more openly for sale than it was before, but it was always bending to money. We fought a war to get rid of a king, and instead we got shareholders. Not a monarchist, but also fuck this system. Anyway, welcome to the town of Crystal. That was a history lesson. This is, I forget exactly what, I don't remember what all of these buildings are, other than just some of the, this is the fun thing, some of these are photos I took because of like, I love this cabin situated against the landscape. Speaking of which, I'm keeping this photo as a vacation shot. I don't know if I'm going to edit it much. I like this one. This one's cool. There we go. This is the general store. This notably permanently closed. Thanks for the memories. That's the thing. The town of Crystal right now is owned by 2 rich investors who I believe are siblings or cousins. They own the whole town. You can drive through it. You cannot stop. They don't want you stopping. They don't want you checking out the buildings. There are like I don't think there's a rope in this shot. When we get to the actual mill, there is rope blocking off where you can and can't go. You can't go in the river because you don't, because people own this river. Like, it's the history of mining in this country is full of greedy people corruptly owning things that they shouldn't. It continues even when Crystal's a ghost town. It's a decent argument that Crystal wouldn't be a ghost town to the degree that it is if these 2 rich dudes hadn't felt like, oh no, we need to own this. So, there you go. Yes, this used to be the general store. Which actually, that feels like a shot I'm going to keep. I'm gonna flag that this photo might actually be worth something. Oh, you got the reflection, the bright red Jeep there. You can see the reflection in the windows. And honestly, if I'm gonna turn this into something, this might be a Photoshop moment where I either take this sign out or I do the opposite and really make it prominent. Please be respectful of private property. I can't stand a photo. This is making me mad, and it makes me definitely want to edit this photo. But I'm looking at this going, I cannot stand like a shot that looks like this, and then a sign that says "Be respectful of my property." Like, ugh. Like, I'm tipping into ownership is theft here right now, but like, jeez, look at that. Like, that's anyway. Getting on a soapbox for an argument that is not fully formed in my head. Instead, we're going to talk about a brothel. This was the Crystal Club, which I'm going to go to this just so we can see it. These letters, which they got the RY and the AL from Crystal, and then the LU and the first line of the B from Club. These are fabric. These were fabric letters. This is one of the oldest standing structures in town. This is the original sign. What's left of it. This is the original fabric sign that was put up on this building, and the Crystal Club was part dance hall, was part saloon, was the town brothel, was any and all forms of entertainment you can imagine took place inside the Crystal Club. I'm keeping this photo as a vacation shot. I like it, but it's not. Yeah, I like it as a thing. I might do some edits of it and see if I can come with something cool to do with it. Let's see. There's another one. It's a better shot, honestly. I'm gonna highlight that one. That one I might be able to have a little more fun with. All right, folks. I promised you we would get to the Crystal Mill. Let me go ahead and flip to. Here we go. This is a better shot. I promised you we would get to the Crystal Mill, and we have. The Crystal Mill, arguably the most photographed mill in the country, which I haven't met anyone actually making that argument. I would argue with them if they said it. I don't think they're right. I don't know what is the most photographed mill in the country. Part of me wants to go to find the least photographed mill in the country and make it look beautiful, but or find the beauty in it. But I feel like the grist mill at Babcock State Park in West Virginia is prettier than this one, but this one is not unpleasant. So this is the Crystal River that we were by earlier. It has come all the way down here, and as I'm gonna go here to talk in detail. The Crystal Mill is right there. That's what's left of the Crystal Mill. This thing is the Sheep Mountain Powerhouse, which is you can tell someone with marketing experience got a hold of this and said, you know what, we're gonna call this the Crystal Mill because if we tell people they're gonna come see the Sheep Mountain Powerhouse, no one's gonna swing by. But we're gonna call, and it was this building that was attached to this building when this building was more than just timbers. So we're we're gonna keep the we're gonna claim that counts, and it's the crystal mill. No, this is the original. These are the original timbers left from the crystal mill when it fell apart. And I think to some degree, I think Crystal had, like, again, Crystal was a functioning town for, like, functioning, like, you know, from the birth of the mine all the way through to, like, it going to becoming a ghost town. It functioned for, it was not functioning for very long. It didn't make it half a century. And I mean, obviously, this is, you know, and then it persists as a ghost town. But the Crystal Mill and the Sheep Mountain Powerhouse, these didn't exist before that World's Fair thing. This is the result of VC funding. This is the result of investors coming in and wanting to get some silver out of this mine. So they're like, yeah, we'll spend money to upgrade the operation a bit. This thing was in operation for 12 years. That's it. This mill ran for 12 years and burned down 3 times in those 12 years. The final time they left it down. But those are some of the original timbers. And then, yeah, the Sheep Mountain Powerhouse, still standing, not in operation, obviously, and has been upkept over the years. If I don't know if we can see any from this side. When we see from the other side, you might get a better. You can tell in person. You can definitely tell, like, which some of these timbers have been replaced. There's been certain things that you can tell they've done little bits of maintenance here and there over the years to keep it together, because now it's a tourist attraction. And yeah, it's, you know, we're preserving history, but we're literally preserving history. That's what we do. And we're immortalizing it in photographs. But yeah, so this is the Sheep Mountain Powerhouse. This is kind of the view from beside it. I think I have better photos of this. I'll keep this one as a vacation shot for now. I do not like this as an overall photo because it's just, the foliage in the foreground is really distracting me. The river, it's in the way of the river and the powerhouse, and then there's this tree over here. Yeah, no, it's whatever. It's an okay photo, but it's a good photo of the place. This one's better. Again, we got really good clouds. Don't have the river as much, but you got a good view of the powerhouse itself. Most of these were portraits. Let me go ahead and rotate a bunch of them. This one all the way back to the one we were looking at. We got some really good, like I said, really good clouds coming up in this section. To here, and rotate. There we go. All right. So yes, let's see. We left off. Skipping that one as a vacation photo. This one or this one. We got a couple here before I change locations. And yep, okay, that's the better shot. We're coming back to that in a second. This one, or this one. This one feels good to me. I like this one. This one, not as much. It feels like I'm cutting things off. Also, not as much. It feels like I'm cutting things off. First one's the winner. All right, here's the other view. As my tour guide calls it, this is the money shot. We can discuss. But yes, remnants of the Crystal Mill, Sheep Mountain Powerhouse. Let me see if I zoom in more here, we can see some of the replacements there. Yeah, a little bit. That wood definitely looks newer than the wood out there, and some of these, yeah, there's some spots you can tell they've definitely patched it up. But more importantly, look at that cloud. Like, the cloud right over the mill was just a phenomenal serendipitous moment. This tree is going to drive me nuts, but I'm keeping this photo. It was funny as we were shooting. There's a little tiny little hill down to, you know, a roped off thing where this viewpoint is, and I am wedging myself as far over to the right side as I can to get the river and not get this bush. Let's see, of these two, I like that one better. This one feels a little bit wonkier. I did have some fun here. There we go. There's a better, again, bush, but better view of the mill and everything. That pool, apparently, very refreshing, very nice to go into. Not super deep. I think it tops out about 10 feet. But of course you're not allowed to go into it because this is private property, and you can't. And this landscape doesn't belong to people, or belongs to 2 people who don't come here. So yeah, I'm not gonna stop being salty about that. That's absolute bullshit. Okay, let's take a look at. All right, yeah. So here, I like this one. I'm gonna keep it. I don't know if I'm gonna use it. I think this one is better. I think I can crop this one to look like that one, but I'm keeping this one because it's a good shot. I think there's some merit to it. All right. Now we've switched to the wide lens. We're at 13 millimeters, And I believe I'm starting to do... Yeah, I'm starting to do some longer exposures. Here we go. All right. So, no, that was a practice one. Get rid of that. This one is fine. I don't know if it's really catching my eye compared to this one. This one feels more like a thing. I put a... This is taken with my 10-stop filter on it, so which is why I'm able to get, like, this is a 10-second exposure. It's still a bit dark. We're going to come back to that. But is it how I'm able to get this just massive white glow of the water. So we're going to keep that. Nope, went back too far. I'm going to keep this one. I like this. There's something lush about this one, and I kind of like... If I can't get these bushes out of my shot, I'm going to lean into them and have them surrounding it and kind of framing the mill. Finally mentioned that where it doesn't feel like a Christmas card. Anyway, this one's okay. This one also kind of okay. I don't know. Let me adjust this. Let me pull the shadows up on this one a little bit. Put the color back in. Yeah. Keeping it. Yep, that one looks good. I like that. I like what I can do with that. We're keeping that one. Go back to black and white, though, please. Next. And these are all just going to continue to improve. Except for this one. This one's too dark. So we're going to... I do like that one tree up there. It's just sort of silhouette... Or two trees. They just have the clouds almost behind them. But I'm going to say no to that one. Let's see. This one looks better. Again, dark, but like not outside the realm of my ability to brighten it up and get some really nice detail in there. And looking at this, it does kind of even though this tree is in the way, you've got the river and then you've got this sort of white almost bracket thing that kind of comes in and hooks the mill. And I like that a lot. I also like the clouds and this like the clouds are almost totally bracketing kind of in their own way the mill on, like as if we're doing one of these. So I like that. 2 stars, coming back to it. Margaret is back. Next, we're gonna keep getting better. Again, this is me moving a little bit more to the right, physically, not politically. Gonna keep this one. One of these two will be the thing that I want it to be. There we go. Now we've done a landscape. Automatically, this looks great. The landscape ones are again, if I can't avoid the foliage, lean in and make it a thing. I'm still on my wide lens, but I'm at 19 millimeters, so I'm zoomed in close to the max on that. And yeah, that looks... I like that a lot, especially once I'm going to be like turning up the clarity and getting that. That feels Land Before Time-esque. I'm giving that... Nope, not 4 stars, just 1. Giving that a star. I want to make sure I come back to this, and I've done this. I've rotated too many of these landscape shots. Hang on, it's like, when do these landscape shots end? Because I've done some high dynamic range stuff. This one, okay, so it's here. All right, all of these need to get rotated 90 degrees to the right. Anyway, here we go. So yeah, so we liked that last one, which pushed in a little bit. I like this one too. I like what the clouds are doing. It's a little bit less clear what the photo's about, but a little bit of cropping will get us there. Here we go. Now we're talking a little bit differently. What is the difference between these two photos? All right, so we've switched. This is switched. I've taken the filter off my lens, so I'm not getting a color cast anymore. And this one is 75 seconds. So this is more than a minute. Which is why you got that nice blur in the water. This one is 1/13 of a second. So you're still getting a little bit of blur in the water. Did I change my... Yeah. So here's the thing. This is at f13, which is very wide depth of field. I'm trying to get everything in focus, and give everything texture and detail. And because of that, when I do that, it darkens the photo. I have to do a longer exposure to get it. This one, again, still have my filter on, but this is f25 at 1/13 of a second. So I've darkened it. I've added even more texture to it. But I took the filter off, and now we're going at 1/13 of a second. So we're still getting, we still have texture in the water, especially you can see kind of down here. But we still are getting that bright white thing. I'm betting that's the one spot I'm overexposed is kind of right in the middle of that. It's kind of right in there. That's okay. I like this photo a lot. I think this is a very good one. Compared to this, yeah, I'm gonna give both these a star. Definitely gonna come back to that. And this is before I start doing some high dynamic range stuff, which we're gonna have fun editing in a bit. Let me compare this one to this one. Wow, those are almost identical framings. Like, I guess I was on a tripod. All right, we're keeping this too. These are, yeah, big. I like this. I like what it does with the sky, and I like this for what it does with the landscape. So keeping both. We're gonna have some fun editing those and seeing which ones land. I also decided to do some high dynamic range shots, which you can. There's a myriad of ways to do them. Sometimes your camera has a built-in feature. Mine does, but it only takes. It'll do high dynamic range JPEGs, but not RAW. And I want to shoot RAW. So, high dynamic range, you can actually fake it. Funnily enough, high dynamic range is where you have a shot that you have where you can get information in the darkest sections and information in the brightest. And the kind of cheating way to do it, not said with any judgment, but the sort of fake way to do it is to take a photo kind of middle of the road, make a copy of it, do two of them. Honestly, do three of them. Keep the original. Then take one where you brighten it up to the point that you can see all the details, assuming you have enough information to do that. And we talked a bit on one of the earlier streams about your histogram up here in the corner. And this works, if you're going to do this method, this works best with a very balanced histogram, which this shot intentionally isn't. This one's a little bit darker than I expected. How about this one? Is one of these got a good histogram to it? That's better. We'll find a shot with a good histogram and we'll talk about it. Actually, hopefully this one here has a good histogram because it's meant to be my middle. Yeah, that's not as bad. Still got some darkness to it because you got some shadows in here, but better. So all right, we're gonna look at this. Look at this histogram. Very overexposed. Like, yeah, the water and the sky are overexposed. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to get to three photos that are kind of the darkest parts are exposed correctly, the middle ground is exposed correctly, and then the brightest parts are exposed correctly. And this is the kind of thing, if you're going to do this as three individual photographs in the field, use a tripod. Or just be ready to have to adjust your photograph. Be ready to lose some of the edges of your photo because you're going to be trying to hold the camera and adjust, and you're going to have a little bit of movement, and you're going to end up losing, some of that's not all going to align. But anyway, on a tripod, so this one is 1/13 of a second, f13. So brighter, it's a bright sunny day, but the sky is overexposed, the water is, but the mill is really well balanced, especially because for the rest of the photos we were taking like this, where the mill was the darkest element in the picture, that's what made me want to do this and do one where, okay, all right, let's get the mill really well exposed, which it is. The texture's great. Then we'll do a middle ground one, which is like this, where the mill is back to being shadowy. This is 1/40th of a second, so I'm keeping my f-stop and just speeding up my shutter speed. This is a 40th of a second. And then we'll do one where we go dark, where you can finally see the texture in the water, where you can see like it's not just a white blob, like it's incredibly underexposed. Actually, it's not as so there's those blue patches there are the things that are so dark there's no information, but that means I could brighten up the shadows and the blacks in this. I can take the exposure up, and I could get a photo that looks pretty good. Like, be a bit noisy, definitely some noise in there, but like, yeah, my underexposed spots are the dark or the windows. But we're not going to do that. We don't need to do that. Because this photograph was designed to get the texture of the clouds, and that ridge line of sky, and to get the water. And so what I will do is, and then I did the same thing in reverse as a portrait. So I've got this is the landscape version, and then here's the portraits, starting with the dark one. So there's the portraits again, great clouds. Then there's the middle ground one, looks like that, and then there's the final one where we're exposed for the mill correctly. All of these are getting flagged as pics. Flag all of them and give them all a 1-star rating, so that not none. We're going to 1. Y'all get it together. 1 star. There we go. So we'll come back to that. we are absolutely going to edit these on stream in the coming days, hopefully either this week or next. And we are going to talk about the way we would do this is we'd select the three, again, all on a tripod, same composition, but three different exposures. We'd go up here to photo, we'd go to photo merge, and we'd choose HDR, or you control H, and that basically what that's going to do is it's going to take one photograph, and it's going to take the things that are exposed properly in each photograph and merge them together to end up with a photograph where I've got the water well merged, and like the water is in focus as well as the cabin. And I've seen this done. I've seen this done with astrophotography to some degree, especially if you want to get a landscape and a sky. I've seen it done with I've seen it done with product and location and like real estate photography. If you want to really give people the sense of a room, you can do it that way. And then the other thing you can do, and you can do this in Photoshop as well, is it gives you a lot more control over. Yes, you've got your light areas and your dark areas, but it gives you control of each of them individually to a more exact, more precise measurement if that's the thing you want to do. But yeah, so we'll see how those look. Put a pin in that. That's going to be fun to check out. All right, moving along. Here we go. We've got, again, crystal mill. A few more of these. I'm not sure. I'm going to keep that. Yeah, I'm keeping that one. I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep most of these, I think, mostly because I'm still in I'm trying to find something interesting to do with these crystal mill photos. It's part of the reason I did the high dynamic range ones, because I wanted to do something. I feel like most of the photos I've seen of the crystal mill have been like high clarity with like, getting the detail of the mill in there. Yeah, it's been this kind of thing. Also, I've seen a lot more of them where they're a little more blue. Like, yeah, I've seen photos that look like that, and I'm like, I want to do something different with them. So I'm keeping a lot of these because I'm still trying to figure out artistically what this mill needs. Let's go back. Yeah, I like this one. Gonna keep that. This one not so much. This one I'm trying I like that I got the mountain up in the top there. I don't know. Maybe this might just be me trying to center the mill or the powerhouse. I guess technically this is centering the mill because there's the mill right there. That's the pieces. Let me keep going. Let's see if I stayed with this for a bit. I did. What was I seeing here that I'm not seeing now? I like this one. I like that I got the little bit of space up at the top makes the mountain more prominent. I'm a fan of that. Let's see. Second one's not doing much for me. First one is. Let's keep that. All right, we did some full-on tilted shots, going almost upside down. Again, trying to get that diagonal, finally getting that tree out of the shot. Sort of. Still there. But less noticeable. So I did a few of these. And next shot, yeah, now we're coming out of the mountains. So let's look at these two. Yeah, second one feels like it clicks with me more. Take the first one out. All right. Another one where I like the shadows on the mountain. I like the way the light's hitting. I also like the grove of trees in the foreground, or not this grove. We're zooming in way too much, y'all. Not this one. This one. I like the pine trees. The pine trees sort of guiding us back to the mountain. And the mountains kind of we start off bright, and then as we go up, we get darker, and then the sky kind of turns into a silhouette. I like that. This one being more centered, I also like, but I feel like I like for the wrong reasons. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. There's some verve about that I'm connecting with. Is that a waterfall over there? It's a waterfall over there. I think I was getting ready to pass this waterfall. Hang on, I did a couple of these. Let me see if any of them really connect. Spot where a road doesn't feel like it's helping. Definitely doesn't feel like it's helping there. Feels like it's trying to muscle its way into the photograph. Which, to be fair, it might have been. I'm not sure necessarily what I was working on, what I was aiming for with these. I like the first one the best. I think the rest of these have a bit of a dreariness to them that I don't love. So we'll take those out. Alright, next. Now we're... Man, you promised me a waterfall, and then you get that. But, hey, it's glacial melt, which is really cool. This is the, coolest, cleanest water that you can... Excuse me. To some degree that you can naturally find. This picture, not so much, though. I was trying to make something of this, and I don't know that I got there. There's something cool about it, being in this little valley, and there's something cool about the way this photograph looks. It just, I don't know, for some reason that the trickle that the waterfall becomes, this is better. Having a little bit of water at the bottom, I think, is what's going to make the difference for me. I'm going to reject that one, and we're going to reject the one right after it. I'm going to stick with these two. There we go. Make sure I'm not missing anything drastically important here. Nope. Shebelin, thank you for also sending me that limerick there, so we don't lose it to YouTube chats. This tree was funny. Because it's this tree is I don't know if it's actually still alive. I believe this one's dead. Yeah, this one looks pretty dead, but well, I am looking straight up. This thing is kind of wedged in the rocks, leaning out literally right over the top of the road. I have better ones of this. Like that one, for example. Also not sure I need that one. Like I got more. We had a moment where we had to back up. Let me kind of click my way through some of these. And we'll come back to those tree ones. I want to get a sense of kind of where we're going here. A lot of these aren't going to hold up, I don't think. I'm trying to get this waterfall in the shot and not try to totally accomplish that. This is jumping ahead. Yeah, that's Lizard Lake. We'll get there. We'll get there right then. Okay, so let's go back to this tree. Can I keep this one as a vacation photo? Don't necessarily think I need an edited photo of it. All right, here we go. We got some mountains and a little bit of a little. I don't even think that's a waterfall. That's just the stream kind of coming past downhill. Not in this shot though. This one's better. Stuff's in focus. What am I shooting at? I'm shooting at 400th of a second. That should be fine. I like this one. This one's got some is catching on with me. This one's absolutely not. Also, no, not entirely sure what I was seeing in this photograph that made me want to catch it. This one's okay. I think I like that one better. This one feels, I don't know. It is exposed better. It does give me more that I could work with. Let me tap through the rest of these. That's the better one. Because now we got water coming all the way down. And even better. Alright, we got two good ones from there. We don't need this first one. This first one in this little group. And I think I'm going to keep... No, I'm going to get rid of this one. This one's not going to take me anywhere I want to go. Alright. I believe this is called Lizard Lake. Unclear why it is called this, but it does give some nice reflections. So we're going to keep that one. Does do a good job honoring the mountain and the forest. Feels like it's, you can see enough of it and connect with it enough that it doesn't just feel like a black void between the foreground and the background. A little bit less so here. Me trying to find the balance on this one. It's not that. Might be this. I like this one. I like the closer one better. I think this one, especially in black and white. Looking at the thumbnail up here, this one feels like it's got a majesty to it that this one doesn't quite have. But then again, you know, like this is my taste at the moment. We'll see if it changes. And we'll see if anybody watching the stream or chatting with me afterwards wants to weigh in. Oh, good. We're starting to reveal the mountains that are the bottom of my glass. Felt like an appropriate glass to drink out of, and I filled it with opaque liquid. All right. Yep, that sure is. I think that's Hat Mountain. I think I want to keep it for that reason, but let's see. Here we go. Now we're looking blurry, aren't we? We are looking kind of blurry. So get rid of that. See if I got one of these that wasn't a bit fuzzed. Nope, it's not that one. That's not really appealing to me at all. Yeah. Nope, coming back. Yeah, I really like this one. I'm really not doing much with this one. I believe this is actually Hat Mountain. And the fun story about Hat Mountain is that it wasn't called Hat Mountain until it slid off a mountain. It was the top of a different mountain that came loose one day and just slid down into the valley and is still tall enough to be its own mountain. So it was named Hat Mountain because it used to be the hat of a mountain. This is an interesting shot. One of those moments of I don't know if it's good or not, but it's interesting. Where's that tree? Okay, so yeah, that tree is, yeah. That tree looks like it's so much closer. Is that just me? I feel like that tree looks like it's so much closer. I'm going to keep this one. I think this one's got something to it. Look at the side of that Jeep. I think I want to keep this because I want to crop it and hang on a second. I've got a couple more of these that I can take a look at. That looks better. I think I caught myself with the Jeep there. Alright, so this one we're going to get rid of. This one, compared to... Yeah, we're going to get rid of that one. If I'm going to do any of these, it's going to be this one. Though, in hindsight, I do like this one. I like that I don't have to crop much out of the bottom. And like on this one, I would want to crop up, and I would feel like I'd start losing the tree. By the way, here's the... 25% is fine. There's the sign that says Lizard Lake. This is Lizard Lake. And then this photo where it's more prominent, and I'm going to keep that as a vacation shot. We move on. We move past this little stream with the rocks kind of going up. It is cute. I don't know if it's... Okay, it's getting better. I don't know if any of it is really catching my eye beyond just a vacation shot. I honestly don't think any even necessarily that. I'm gonna keep one of these just because I'm gonna pick the second one. I need the second one. That's my random choice to keep that guy. So these two both get flagged as rejected. Here we go, working our way through. That's all right. More interesting, got some subtle shadow or subtle lighting coming through here that's not there. More interesting. Don't love that tree on the side, but we're gonna keep it. Decided to lean in a bit. I like that better. Take it back. I like the first one better. Second one feels like it's a little cluttered. This is coming around the lake at the very end of the trip. Yep, gotcha. Which is definitely pretty, but also not... Well, let's see, we got some streaks in the sky. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Not really catching my attention at the moment. Catching it a little bit more. Let's keep going. See if we... How's my focus on these? Actually, not bad. Actually, workable. Again, I love the way the light is hitting the side of those mountains. Not this photo. That's better. That's got some personality to it. I actually like that one a lot. Take it back. I like the one after it better. You get the no parking sign there. That one I kind of like. I think that's funny. It's got the same kind of amusing energy to me as the stay out of the town of Crystal. It's private property sign, but it does make me mad. No parking feels more correct. I like this one because the mountains are more centered. Yeah, my gut instinct says this one is not you. 347. This one is the good one. All right. Here we go. Now let's talk about why the town of Marble is called the town of Marble. It's because there's this marble quarry up here. It's about a 5-minute drive out of town, 5 or 10 minutes. And it is just gorgeous. It is absolutely, like, it's wild. Excuse me. Wild that they have been mining marble out of this same spot for 50-something years, and it's still here. More than 50 years, actually. This town's got a long history. Fun fact: both the Lincoln Memorial in D.C. and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington came directly from here. They were mined here, they were sculpted here, and then they were shipped to D.C. and assembled. And that's not just the Lincoln Memorial, the statue. That's the entire building is all marble from Marble, Colorado. And if you've been to Arlington, you will know the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is starting to crack. The town of Marble already has a 42-ton slab of marble that has been set aside for years at this point, specifically for when it's time to replace that. They have the marble already ready to go. So this is the marble quarry, which I have better pictures of. So we're gonna skip this one. Yeah, we have better pictures. Look at this. We got the marble. We've got this endless expanse of white up here. We got the mountain in the background. We got this, and we can follow the line down to this little river and this little waterfall. Talked about how the town of Marble really has too much marble, and they're using it for parking barriers and everything. This is true. This is the town of Marble. This is why it's called that and why it exists. Let's look at a couple more. Yeah, first one's better. Again, give you a sense of just the scale of this thing. I don't think there's any shots. I don't know if we could see any cars out here, but just, yeah, that amount of marble is very, very cool to see. Let's see. I think I like. Yep, I like the first one better. I don't think this composition quite holds up. Did a couple of these trying to getting that waterfall in there that I thought was kind of neat. And then a couple more to really highlight that. All right, let me come back to these two here for a sec. Yeah, keep the second one as a vacation. The first one's a vacation shot. I don't recall rejecting this one though. This one shouldn't be rejected yet because I like it. I love putting the mountain front and center. I also liked putting it off center for this to really. Something about that. It looks like the marble, looks like the white is sort of almost dripping down the mountain. We're gonna keep that. We already said we're not keeping that one. I wish my controller would stop jumping back 2 every time. I gotta look at its programming. I like this one too. This one has a good composition and good design to it. So that's the marble quarry, and this was just on the way up there. There's like. The mountains up here are just have just fascinating rock formations and colors. I really liked this patch of kind of this zigzag lightning bolt of white coming down this one. Let me see if any of the photos I think came out the way I wanted them to. This one kind of. Let's see. Yeah, I like this one. I like this one a little bit less. keeping that as a vacation shot. Okay, we have completed our tour through Crystal and Marble, Colorado. 366 photos. We've gone through and rejected a bunch. Let's find out how many we got rid of. 190. Let the thing do its math. Give me a chance to hydrate, and I will start writing down totals. We're not done yet. We got one more section. It's working on it. There we go. All right. Let's go in here to our Marble, Colorado stuff. There it is. 176. Went from 366 to 176. We are making phenomenal progress. Tomorrow's stream is going to be fun. We're going to get the final thing. All right, we have 330 for Maroon Bells. Here we go. And we start as in Maroon Bells as we always should with a deer's butt. 330. There we go. That's the question. All right. So, Maroon Bells. This is a mule deer. This is the back end of a mule deer. But Maroon Bells is so on the. It's if you were to hike to the top of one of the peaks we were just looking at around Crystal, you would be able to see the Maroon Bells. The Maroon Bells are I don't believe they're not a full range of mountains, but they are a collection of peaks that are. You've got the Maroon Bells, which is a mountaintop that's got kind of two peaks kind of next to each other. Bells, not Belle. I made that mistake. And then you have, like, all around them, you have North Maroon and West Maroon and South Maroon. And it's because of the color of the stone. Because of the color of the stone when the people who named them were there. Because, yeah, that's how it goes. And I do have some shots where you're going to see there's some gorgeous red rock in there. I'm keeping this photo because I think it's funny. That's what we're starting with. But the other thing is, yeah, there's the thing with Maroon Bells is there's a lot of good hikes that start from it. The visit, like kind of not visitor center, but kind of the central hub when you come in is the kind of the most famous shot. You'll see it coming up later. You'll see it a lot because I took a lot of photos of it. That's just a really pretty photo of a deer. But there's also, because like at this little first viewpoint, there's several kind of gravel paths that sort of crisscross each other and are roped off, and you'll see I think I got some of the ropes in some of these shots that are roped off, and you come there in the evening and you will very likely see wild animals. You will see there's a fox that lives around there's mule deer all over the place, and there's also there apparently they had been seeing a young bull moose up there a little bit. We'll get to I did not see him, but we did have some good encounters with mule deer. First night we were there, yeah, a bunch of these deer were just out kind of grazing later in the evening, paid very little minds to us, which is cool. I like this photo, mostly because I think it's kind of cute seeing the ears up like that. Here we go. Here's their face mid-chew. Isn't that what everybody wants, is to have their photo taken while they're munching on something? I do have better photos of this. I'm going to say no to this one. Here we go, and this is the spot I've kind of been waiting to talk about context. So this is 300 millimeters on my big lens, and you'll see shots. We get closer, and then there's a moment where I'm like, nope, big lens is causing me problems. Let me go to is not giving me the photos that I want to get, and so I switched to a wider lens, and the photos from that of the deer I think are better. We're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to get there before this stream ends. I'm going to go for like another 20 minutes. All right, so this guy here. Cute, like this little eyeing. I don't know if he's eyeing the flowers, but it looks like he is, or she. Actually, these are she's. These are all female deer, because it's this time of year they would all have antlers if they were male. I don't think there were any stags down here this night. I think these were all girls. So yeah, so we're gonna keep that one. That one's cute. A little bit of cropping that'll make for a really good photograph. Head just okay. So we were ignoring the flowers. We have decided we wanted the grass next to them. Another one. I'm not really enjoying the photos. Like it's not a bad photo, but I'm really not. The cutting the animal off halfway feels kind of bizarre to me. I'd rather have the shots that are closer to full body, or that are very specifically about a connection. Look at these two. These two didn't have a problem with each other. That's foreshadowing for later. This one, yeah, this one and I, again, every deer I interacted with at Maroon Bells had those moments of like looking up at me, I guess, looking up at me, and then going back to what they were doing, and then I would move, and they would look up at me, and then go back to what they were doing, and I'm trying to channel like Matthew McConaughey and be like, hey, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. We're just hanging out, and I don't know if it feels incredibly egotistical of me to be like, and the tone of my voice was soothing, that they relaxed, and it's like that deer doesn't have a clue what any of those concepts are, to the best of my knowledge. So, but it doesn't mean that I stopped talking to them because they're so goddamn cute. Look at that face. This is a moment where I do like, where I'm okay with not having the full deer because the face is just so expressive. Definitely gonna keep that one. Also, yeah, you wonder why they're... Someone's wondering... When you see them with their ears down, you're like, oh, why are they called mule deer? And then they flip those things out, and you're like, oh, I get it. Got those giant ears. Again, okay, so this is still my big lens. This is my big lens zoomed out as far as I can go. But this is animal in context. We're not to the photo that I'm talking about yet, but this is animal in context, and this is... And, like... Yeah, while this photo is very cute... and definitely worth keeping, this one feels like it's telling a little more of a story. A couple of these do. I'm gonna kind of go through and rotate a bunch of these. Another one this one's a very good face, but also like gives you some context of the landscape behind her has something going on there. This one not as much. That's kind of interesting. This one, because it's so focused on her, and then because the trees behind her stand out the way they do, it feels more precise. I think I caught her going to the bathroom here. Adopting that sort of, leave me alone kind of pose. Which you'll notice we aren't. Look at those giant ears. It's one of those things that you see in person, and it's I'm still struggling to capture exactly how giant those ears look in person. They're just, yeah. I'm gonna keep that one. Again, working on animal in context. Shot's pretty. I'm gonna keep it, but it doesn't. It's not quite the shot that I was like, that I kind of envisioned that I'd be able to get. That shot comes in a bit because I did actually get it. Here's a better view of just kind of the way this viewing area works. You've got the gravel path, you've got the roped off sections, you got the deer, you have a signs and kiosks and stuff, and then you have the deer completely ignoring all of it because it's a wild animal and it doesn't respect private property, and it doesn't care. That was perfect. Thank you, deer. And over here, you'll notice right next to the deer's butt, out of focus, is my brother. Hanging out back there because I take pictures of things, he goes and explores. It's part of what makes the duo work. Let's see. Here we go. Looking back, not looking at me, looking back at something, but I'm gonna keep that. There's something I do kind of like about that photo. If I knew what it'd be, I don't know. There's something going on there. I don't know. I like the way the rope actually works. This is a moment where I'm liking the man-made thing. It adds a little bit of context to the grass. The forest behind her is cool, and then she's a bright little spot down there. Yeah, I can be on board with that photo. This one less so. This is less interesting. This, it's one of those things where, seeing, it's one of those things where, if we can easily ascribe an emotion to something, it makes it more relatable. Yeah, here it's like, yep, no, this feels like she's doing something. This is just like, she's looking around. Whatever. Okay. I'm still in the 105. I think this one I'm switching to the 24. But all right, let's talk about those two deer earlier. Were interacting very well. Then this one showed up, and now we got a fight. Again, all females, but definitely got some aggression going on. Somebody wants the good grass over here. All of the ones in this section are going to be kept. There's a couple that I'm going to highlight for editing, but all of them are being kept. And then back here is Steven. Notably, doing the correct doing the correct thing to do when you see wildlife. Stand far back from it. Keep your hands in your pockets. In this case, you're not trying to scare off a bear. You don't need to look, or a mountain lion. You don't need to look big. But yes, keep your hands in your pockets. And do not interfere. Let nature do nature's thing. There we go. Now we're showing dominance. We're up on our hind legs. We got this one's cowering with the ears up. Yeah, tail's up too. Yep, keeping that one for sure. Ooh, and then we're trying to got a bit of a thing going on here, and we're keeping that one too. This jump. This is one of the moments I looked back and I was like, I cannot believe I actually got this shot of just this one in the air coming over the rope, and this one absolutely turning tail and getting out of there. And then getting chased off. Keeping that one. And this was all done complete. Yeah, just this whole little saga here. Why am I zooming? I don't need to zoom in that much. I want to do this. Yeah, this whole little saga, entirely nonverbal, and entirely, like a little bit of hard sniffing, but for the most part, just happening very quietly. Watching this fight go on. Still my 100. Still on my Y. No, this is. I've switched to my 105. This is my 24-105 lens, which I'm very glad I was on for moments like this, because, yeah, this is just, it's a really, really cool moment to have captured wide enough that I can see the context around it. Steven being an exception. Let me do a quick phone check here. Yeah, I got you. All right. So keeping these vacation shots of the deer. All right, I talked about context. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. And I've got some really good shots of this that we get to. But like, got your deer in the foreground, got your nature in the background, got your mountain way in the background. That's context. That is putting these animals in a place, and that helps us connect. And also, I do kind of like the rope and the path here. This is not the photo that's I'm keeping this photo. It's not a photo I think I'm gonna do anything with. But it is still providing context for, and still providing a human element. It's bringing a relationship with humanity into this photo, and I do really, really like it for that reason. Honestly, I might. This feels like a shot I could use to advertise Maroon Bells. Here we go. That's my focus on this one. Actually, pretty spot on. Yeah. This is the kind of shot I was like I wanted to try to get when I saw the deer. It was like, if one of them crosses the path and goes over there where the mountain is, I want to get that shot where you've got the deer and the mountain in the background, because that's just that context of. Yep. And then here's this one who's like, nope, I'm getting away, but also still moving along in the content, and has the context of the forest behind her. Look at her in motion. Yeah, here we go. Now I'm starting to lean into trying to get that mountain in the background. I do like this shot with the head up and the rope in there. I'm not sure I'm going to use this because I don't love the I'm on the fence about whether or not I want the human element in there. But that's the start. Look at that. Look at her. Now I'm like allowing the human element to be a smaller presence, but I'm also allowing the mountain to be a smaller presence. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. I think she moves it right at the end, and I get the shot that I've been wanting. But this was me chasing animal in context, because it really does add something to the photo, and really does help tell the story better. Again, that mountain just Wait, there. That might be the one. I got a couple of these, don't I? It's kind of where this ends. Nope, we're still going. Ah, that's where this sort of ends. This is me being like, "Yeah, cool, I got the shot." So let's go back and take a look at those last couple. My controller just stopped bouncing backwards, though. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I like this one. I like her looking at me. I like this one, too. Same reason. This one's just cute. I'm going to keep this one. Actually, hang on. No, my focus is not on her. We're going to lose that one. Oh, we're still going. I'm still taking pictures of her with a mountain in the background. Zoomed in a bit for fun, but let's see. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep projecting these till I get the. I know the one I'm looking for is in here. That one's pretty great. That one with a little bit of cropping. I can crop out the rope. You can tell I was really chasing this composition. Really happy that I got it because I just stood here and took the same photo over and over again with just slight adjustments. I thought that focus looked a little bit soft on her. Looks pretty good there. It's not quite where I want to be yet, though. Texture's good. Focus is good. Shot's all right. We'll keep that. Again, a lot of the Maroon Bells photos are wildlife, and so there's a lot of like kind of quick yes no yes no yes no. Not this one. There we go. That's closer to what I was thinking. Like yeah, just her out in nature, with the massive mountain behind her. Yeah, there's a lot about that I really like. This is on the 24 mil. All right, other side of the lake. Other side. So the reason Maroon Bells as a viewpoint is so popular is because you've got a valley, you got peaks on either side. So you have a valley. Right in the middle of that valley is a mountain is a separate peak. That's this one. This is the kind of curve of the valley, the swoop of it. There's another mountain back there. And then you have a lake in the foreground. So you can get some gorgeous reflections. And we're going to talk about those in a bit. Probably on the next stream. But this photo, so we were starting to get some, had some clouds and up in the mountains, and we also had some mist coming across the water, which was very cool to see. Yeah, first picture's better. A little wider is better context. That's a vacation shot. I'm happy. I wanted to capture that mist. Again, there's the peak there. Photo loses something when you don't have a deer in it. I'm curious if I dehaze this. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with not this photo, but a lot of fun with photos where we've got the mountains covered by fog. We're gonna have a lot of fun with just the context of that. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's a very haunting effect when you can really pull out the texture of the mountain amidst the clouds. Give the forest a little bit of something. Bring the whites up. There's a spot where the clarity is not helping us, but texture will. Might want to do that a little more selectively though. But yeah, that feels powerful. I'm almost comfortable saying that photo was edited. Saying that it's done. I really, really like how that looks. In color, I like it too. Black and white, it has something though to me. I really, really love that. All right, moving on, and we did it again. Same type of angle. Oh, if I want to find out. came up. Shadows came up a bit. What if we didn't go back to multiple photos at once, guys? What if we didn't do that? All right. Withdrawing my opinion. This one is not the one to save. This one is. So it gets 2 stars. So I need to come back to it. Let's see. Yeah, no, Sheldon, the delay usually, I think on average is somewhere is as long as it's staying for the most part under 10, and I'm not getting notifications about dropout, I'm okay with it. But yeah, that the delay is something else. All right, and I'm sorry about it. I wish there was more that I could do. Ooh, I was not expecting the clouds to do that. This photo is going to get a little work, but this photo is good. 2 stars. Move on. These are geese along the side of the lake. I didn't have anything else to take pictures of at that moment, so I took pictures of those geese. Let's see. All right, here's what's kind of what you expected. Yeah, when it's not covered in fog, what you expect for the Maroon Bells viewpoint. And this is honestly probably as good a spot as any to call it. So yeah, it's Shelby. The I don't know how bad the delay is. I know I'm seeing your comments and then responding to them a little bit after, so that might be part of it. I'm not responding as quickly as I'm seeing your messages. All right. Yeah, this is the photo we're going to stop on for now. I don't even know if I'm going to accept or reject this photo. I love what the sky is doing. I don't love that I can't see the mountain out there. And this body of water right now, if I bring the shadows up, you might get... Yeah, there's something to that. I know there's better shots of this landscape coming. But, all right. That's pretty good. We're going to call it on that. Let's go back to me. Yeah, so thank you for joining for this little trip to Maroon Bells. And Crystal, we're 60 photos in, so we got over 200 to do on stream tomorrow, but we got a couple hours and we'll blow through that. We got through about that same amount today, so we'll go through them. We'll pick out the best. We will finally get our total for what the 1,629 photos I took in Colorado turned into, and then we can start actually editing them. Creative process is not quick. It takes its time. You work your way through it. But yeah, so thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this. If you're enjoying my photography, please, I'm trying to get a new thing. Please scan this QR code, which will take you to my new online shop. I've partnered up with a company called Go Imagine, which is we're getting off of Etsy. Etsy tends to be a problem. They have gotten very, because they went public. They've gone to shareholders. They have become they have become very much catering to the bigger drop shippers and the cheaper made products as opposed to the handmade artist driven thing that was what was their original goal. And they're also explicitly not controlling content, which is often fine, but when the president is setting up concentration camps and you're selling t-shirts, you're part of the problem. And so we're staying off of Etsy. We've gone to Go Imagine, which is nonprofit and entirely artist and creator driven. So some of my pieces are on there. They are, cool thing about what I'm doing there, you can buy the wooden necklace. I realize I'm holding things up, but there's a QR code in your face. I'll show this when I get back. But you can buy not just my photographs. There's going to be 8 framed photos on there at any one time. They are first come first serve. If you buy one, it's off until I put it back on, potentially months or a year or so later. So it's It's pieces that I've selected. It's pieces that I think will look amazing, and it's yeah. And I want to make it, and I want to make it so that it's special for you, so that it's you have it and you have the one. But also, if you would like other stuff, we also have, again, I'm showing merch that you can't really see because there's a QR code, but there's postcards. We got postcards, the necklace that I'm wearing, and also my paracord bracelets are all, there we go, right there. Are all available on my Go Imagine store. So you can scan this QR code, you can go to Go Imagine and search for Twisted in Nature Photography, or you can go to erichackler.com/photography and you will find a link to my store there. So, scan that. 3, 2, 1, and we're back. So, yeah, as I was saying, products, postcards, that are some of my favorite photos from around the United States, and also, like, you can mail them to people, and they also have a little QR code on them for you to, whoever you send them to can scan the QR code, and they can scan that QR code, and then they can add their postcard to a map, and then we can go on, and on my website you can see kind of where all the postcards went, which is really cool. So there's that. There's also necklaces like this, and then bracelets like these. So, with all that said, and all this done, and all these photos sorted through, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for helping celebrate this nature that, in some cases, in Black Canyon's and Grand Canyon's case right now, are not accessible to the public because of wildfires and because of climate change, and because we have not taken care of our planet the way that we should. I don't know what it's going to take for us to get this wake-up call. Hopefully, hopefully it will be things like this, like sharing photographs and memories and experiences of these places. And I would, while that feels arrogant and egotistical of me to say that I think I could make that difference, I would rather it be a million of us sharing our stories of these places rather than losing lives to natural disasters, because that's going to keep happening and that's going to get worse. But in the meantime, we will still do our part to celebrate what is amazing about these places, and we will embrace embrace our duty to contribute to saving the world as much as we can. And sometimes that means sharing photographs. Sometimes that means I don't know how to make a comment about this. We're a fan of Luigi Maggione on this channel. That's where I was going with that, and I couldn't quite get it to flow. There's a lot of different ways you can help out. Do what feels right to you. In the meantime, be safe, be kind, keep making stuff, keep being awesome. Don't stop, and we'll be back tomorrow for the final session, which I've been kind of keeping these to hour and a half to 2 hours. This last one, we're going to go until we're done. So for the last session, we're going to finish all the Maroon Bells photos. You're going to get another look at that absolutely terrifying picture of a stag that I got. We've got a great picture of a fox coming, a couple good fox pictures coming up, and we got some really, really pretty wilderness. So, on that note, again, thank you, be safe, and yeah, celebrate the amazing planet that we have, because we do have it, and it is our duty to celebrate it, make sure that it's there for the next group. All right, later.